Greetings YouTubers, Rymante here with a few updates on what's happening with the channel and some video game related observations. The footage is from my first attempt to solo Silver difficulty in Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. I had just unlocked the Black Widow and wanted to try it out, but it's not the focus of this video. Instead, you'll hear about the current state of my videos and the channel, get a game recommendation, and maybe more. But first, let's talk about E3 2012. E3 seems to be getting worse each and every year. I think Microsoft's conference was by far the worst. A bunch of shooters I wasn't interested in, a bunch of Kinect games and non-gaming entertainment services I wasn't interested in, and f***ing Usher dancing on stage to promote Dance Central 3 without actually showing Dance Central 3. Capcom also managed to fudge their Resident Evil 6 demo, mainly showing boring scripted sequences and a barrage of QTEs. Nothing truly interesting, like how the gameplay is changed, for example, if it has at all. More interesting footage of Resident Evil 6 did appear after the conferences, but they didn't exactly light me on fire with excitement. Oh, don't worry, I'm still getting the game. I'm just saying, not reaching Sector's levels of hype here. EA's conference was marginally better. At least they focused on showing games, but is anyone absolutely bewildered by how similar Dead Space 3 and Lost Planet 3 are turning out to be? Not to mention there wasn't a single surprise in the stage demo because all the details about co-op and the second character had been leaked well before E3 started. Then the demo itself proceeded to make it look like Gears of Dead Space, with crouching behind cover and dodge rolls and... Knowing me though, I'll probably still get it. The new SimCity was mildly interesting, which is strange because SimCity is really not my type of game. Perhaps it had something to do with the fact that the rest of the games were either shooters, sports games, or Need for Speed Most Wanted, which also looked sort of neat. Criterion. They make good games. With cars. Vroom. Okay, enough of that. Let's talk about the one company that truly stole the show at this year's E3. Ubisoft. They stole the show for two very specific reasons. One, they had the most interesting games on offer, with stuff like Rayman Legends, Assassin's Creed 5, and the genuine surprise of Watch Dogs. Seriously, no one saw that coming, and it actually looks genuinely interesting and surprising, and oh my god, how did this happen? Unfortunately, the other reason Ubisoft stole the show was because of their absolutely horrific hosts, continuing their tradition by this point. Gah! Remembering awful things! Must forget girlwood joke. So terrible. Ugh. Ugh. Yes, Watch Dogs, Watch Dogs. If you haven't seen the E3 demo, you should go and watch it now! I'll be here waiting for when you come back. It's easily the most fascinating thing to have come out of the entire show. I was not able to catch Sony's press conference, as by the time it started it was 2 AM over here. I was fast asleep. From the sounds of things though, I didn't miss too much. Beyond Two Souls and The Last of Us seemed to be the highlights. Beyond might be interesting if it's actually a game and not an interactive movie where you occasionally press buttons. It certainly looks very pretty. Quantic Dream's tech has come a long way with much more convincing facial animation than in stuff like, say, Heavy Rain. As for The Last of Us, even though it is Naughty Dog, I just can't bring myself to be excited for yet another post-apocalyptic zombie game. Then, it was Nintendo's turn. This should have been something special. They held a separate live stream on the Sunday before E3 so they could focus on the games during the actual conference. Nintendo should have blown us away with new and exciting games to get us in line to pre-order Wii U. But they blew it. They totally blew it. Their big opener was Pikmin 3, which was okay, but... Pikmin? Really? You have all these other mega franchises just sitting there, and Pikmin is like your big opener. Then they tried to get us excited about a game we've all already played. Batman Arkham City Gimmick Edition. Scribblenauts and the stupidly named Zombie U also did nothing for me. Surely they would finish on a big note though, right? A tease the next Uber game, the next Metroid, a new F-Zero or Star Fox, whatever Retro Studios are working on next? No! Nintendo Land is what you get! I cannot believe how much they tried to hype up this minigame collection. It looks so boring! Apparently we need this game because we don't get how amazing the Wii U gamepad is. But Ubisoft did a pretty good job demonstrating that with Rayman Legends, whereas Nintendo Land just confused me. And then that was it. Show's over, go home. I think this picture Vidir drew of me sums up my thoughts on E3 as a whole, as well as many, many other things. So, there I was, utterly depressed by E3, desperately seeking proof that video games can still be creative, inspiring, and fun. I don't quite remember why, but Sectus and Gar have been talking about Ghost Trick a fair amount. The Capcom point-and-click adventure game by the Phoenix Wright guys for the DS. I was always mildly interested in trying this game, and I actually found it in stock and picked it up on a whim, as well as those two hearty recommendations. It was exactly what I needed. The game is amazingly well crafted, and it proves that Capcom do actually have talented writers on staff who can do 11 billion times better than this.
How did you get here?
We were at the port when we were attacked. And then, well, I ended up here. Shit.
I want to gush about this game all day long, but I would definitely spoil the whole thing if I did. Ghost Trick is clever, funny, adorable, endearing, mysterious, and full of twists and suspense. It both looks and sounds great, with incredible character animation and fantastically catchy music. If the DS version is proving too hard to come by, you can also get it for iOS devices like iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. The App Store lets you play the first 2 chapters for free, and you can buy the rest if it grabs your attention. I heartily recommend that you try this game. It is great, great, great! Missile! Right, with that out of the way, what's happening with the channel and my videos? Will there be more Mass Effect 3 multiplayer? Probably. Will there be more other games? Yes! In fact, I just recorded some more Serious Sam 2 with Gar the other day, so expect that soon. Amnesia is something else I definitely want to get back to. That has been on hiatus for far too long. And then there's Little Big Adventure 2. LBA2 is in a bit of a weird spot. I wasn't entirely pleased with how things turned out on the last live stream, so I'm debating whether or not to continue it in that format, or just continue it in a more traditional Let's Play format. There's so much I wish I had done differently in the earlier videos, like properly explain what the hell I was doing, or how you're supposed to figure out, or know what to do in that game. It's getting to the point where I wonder if I should either start the whole thing over, or just drop it entirely. In fact, I was very surprised that LBA2 is the only series whose fate I was asked about consistently by the same 2 people. But back to Mass Effect 3 for a moment. I was thinking of doing some videos with the intent to help people improve their game a bit. But rather than just assume you'll want a long series of video guides that covers everything, I'll pose the question here. What do you most want to learn about in Mass Effect 3 multiplayer? Is there anything in particular you're unsure about, would like a helping hand with? By all means, let me know if this is something I should even pursue. One last piece of unfinished business is the live stream. I definitely want to live stream again, considering how much these guys have been live streaming lately. But I just can't seem to find the right game, or I run into some technical hurdle I can't overcome. I was originally thinking of streaming something on the N64, But the Hauppauge HD PVR is so uncooperative with my real N64 that it's not viable. And emulation is so goddamn frustrating to get right that it never went anywhere, which made me sad. If I can find a way to make N64 live streaming work, I'll definitely do it. Just don't hold your breath. It seems unlikely at this point. I have ideas for future videos, but I definitely want to finish at least one existing project before I start anything else. Right. I think that covers everything. Any questions you have can be posted to me in one of three ways. Either in the comments below, via YouTube PMs, or you can post to my Twitter account, @RymanteX. When I finally do livestream again, I can be found at www.twitch.tv/RymanteX. Until next time folks, ta-ta for now.